Well. What do we have here? Barclays, a few months ago, made a little announcement that I've just unearthed. And this came about because I have a friend, right? And my friend works for Barclays Bank. I'm not sure his ranking in that. It's not like a top dog, but he's probably working towards it. And just out of curiosity, purely out of curiosity, I was asking him, have you been getting training in CBDCs or training on the new ISO 20022 kind of upgrade that's happening? Have you been receiving any training so at least you know what's going on? And he said, no, the current stance for Barclays is that crypto assets are a risky investment, and so we don't offer any cryptocurrencies or do any crypto services. And he was being honest. I don't even know if he's invested in crypto, so he's probably not asking the questions either to his superiors. But as soon as I heard him say that about the stance of Barclays, I was like, I know the answer. Right? I know what's happening. You're working at Barclays and you don't know what's happening. So one of the things is he might not be high enough ranking to have that kind of intel, but I just knew. I knew. Barclays were going to be involved in cryptocurrencies in a big way. I just know it because they all are, right? When you read the documentation on their websites, it all talks about, the changeover to this HVPS, RTGS blockchain environment system with the new ISO 20022 upgrade. They all talk about it on their documentation, but yet the people working there still don't know about this stuff. And I think obviously there's a threshold in terms of your ranking in the company, whether you know this stuff or not. But when you look at the inner workings of Barclays, and you can see it clear in this instance, we know Barclays, without having done the research yet, I will show you that later, we know that Barclays will be involved, so the superiors know that they're going to be involved with cryptocurrency, but there's a deliberate effort to tell everyone underneath the same message. We do not offer anything to do with cryptocurrency. That's a deliberate message, right? It's deliberately that way so that people can't start investing, they can't start digging to see where the next investment might be. Because obviously retail needs to be kept out as much as possible. And the crazy thing is about all of this, which you'll have seen with all of your banks, sometimes when you try to buy cryptocurrency on exchanges, your bank gives you a notice to say, this is too risky, we are not letting you move your money. Your money! Do you think it's your money when it's in the bank? Do you think that's your money? No, they're making the decisions for you. You've got no say in the matter. If you have done all the research in the world and you have weighed up the risk tolerance of yourself and the risk reward of what you're about to spend your hard-earned money on, do you think they should be able to say, no, you can't do that, it's too risky? Adding on to that, do you think they should be able to say, no, you can't do that, it's too risky, but we're also investigating crypto and we're investing in companies on the side without telling you? That's not okay, man. So the reason I called this video what I did was because of this exact situation. This is just an example of Barclays, just like all the other banks, saying one thing, even internally saying one thing to the lower downs in the business, but also saying something completely different, actually, in fact, scaring people on the other side, on the retail side. So I've talked at length in the past about staking. It might not be called staking when you do it with banks in the future, but staking your crypto. So giving custody of your cryptocurrency to a large institution. I really want that to be like PolySign or Flare Network or Ripple when they become a bank. I would really prefer it to be that way. But we know that the big banks and institutions are going to be working on this themselves, right? And this was just confirmation. So I did a tiny bit of digging, knowing the answer myself to this whole question and knowing the way that these entities work and the lack of sharing of knowledge deliberately. I did a little bit of a Google search, and in July this year, 2022, Barclays bought a stake in a crypto blockchain-based company called Copper. So I thought, oh, that's interesting. Let me read a little bit more about that. So as I scroll down, let me move the screen so that you can see it over here. And I'm going to read it. Copper provides custody, prime broking, and settlement services to institutional investors in crypto assets. You hearing me? Copper handles custody of crypto assets. So this happened mid this year. The messaging, even internally with their own people, has said nothing about this. I even mentioned this article later on in the conversation. Didn't know anything about it. Yet Barclays PLC, the Barclays that he works for, is making these moves in the background. And here's the juicy part. Ready? I'm going to move the screen again. Here's the juicy part. Barclays and Copper declined to comment on the report. Oh, it's great. I love it, right? I love it because I can hear something, all the FUD, I can hear all the FUD, even if it's person to person. A guy from Barclays, I'm talking to the guy from Barclays and he goes, no, we're not doing anything to do with crypto. I hear that FUD and I already know the answer. My thought is already, you clearly haven't looked for the answer and you don't know what's going on. How do I know what's going on already? Well, it's because I've done enough research, seen enough of these institutional messaging that goes out to the retail and the public, and I know that these guys are all working on it. I even received intel the other day. Thank you for the intel. You know who you are. I'm not going to mention you because I know you want to stay as low-key as possible. Santander, one of the biggest banks in the UK and one of the big entities in the world, they're not just doing crypto staking and giving you interest with the custody that they hold. They will give 12%, right? We know the number already. Like, these things are happening. So you think Santander is going to do it? You think all the other institutions are going to do it, but Barclays isn't? Barclays is going to be competing in that marketplace as well, right? So I already knew the answer as soon as I heard it. There it is, there's the proof. Barclays have a big stake in Copper, and Copper do crypto custody services. Barclays, you can add that to your list of institutions that you might be able to go to after this thing pops. Who knows how long it will take for the crypto staking to come out of the woodwork when this thing goes to the moon. But my anticipation is if Barclays have been making their moves and actually buying stakes in these custody companies as early as July 2022, so this year, I would like to think that if something popped off, they would be able to get that partnership in agreement and planned within about half a year, 6 months. Where does that take us? End of this year, November. Just again, fitting the criteria. They know what's going on. They're going to be dabbling in cryptocurrencies. They already are. But how they hide it is they work with partners, right? They buy these companies that offer the services that they want to deliver to their clients. So whenever you hear someone say, we are not doing crypto custody or any crypto services. In fact, when they say crypto is a really bad high risk investment, you know what they're doing already. All right? I want you to know that. We're making you FUD proof here. Whenever you see rubbish that people put on Twitter and they say this bank will never do that, or even I'm never giving my crypto to be in the custody of a bank, you can say goodbye, unfollow them, see you later. You don't know what you're talking about. The way to make this a beneficial endeavor for us in this crypto space is to go to do staking through a regulated and insured environment. You're not getting that in DeFi, ladies and gentlemen. You go through that regulated and insured environment with the banks, but the people who are declining that way of thought, thinking the banks are the bad guys, they're not the bad guys. I made a video about this before. They're not the bad guys. They're just the smartest ones on the planet. And us on this channel, knowing all of this and the way they operate, puts us in that category too. So if you think the institutions are the bad guys, well, I'm sorry to break it to you, but that means you're a bad guy. Because if you hold XRP, you're going to be in that 1%. You're going to be part of that rich group. If you want to be part of that rich group, you have to move like the rich move. To me, that sounds really simple. Anyway, I've had major amounts of sharing on Twitter. The Twitter's grown from like 500 followers to like, I don't know, it's like 7,000 today. It's only a couple of days. The YouTube channel's going like crazy, absolutely crazy. So I really appreciate it to everyone. If I do get cancelled, right? I'm on Rumble as well. The Rumble link is in the description. You can't get cancelled on Rumble. So go over there, support me over there. And if you want to stay over there, keep watching over there. I'll be very grateful for your support. I also have other social medias. If you are looking for places to buy XRP, I've got a list of trusted places. I've actually added Mexi to the links. That's a new place to buy. And you are able to move your cryptocurrency immediately from Mexi to the cold storage wallet, which is what we all like in here. I'm working on a tutorial to show you exactly how to do that, from buying the XRP to actually moving to the cold storage wallet, but that will be with you soon. Thank you for commenting, liking, subscribing, and sharing this video with anyone that you know in XRP. Stay emotionless out there, and I'll see you in the next one.